as far as credit. So if that's something that you are trying to, correct, it's definitely doable. I've heard of people filing for bankruptcy when you owe like, $10,000. Honestly, $10,000 is not that much. We all get income taxes. I used to anyway. My income taxes are not $10,000 and $12,000 like they used to be, but every year I would take that money, and that's how I started clearing up my credit. And once my income got over that, now I'm lucky if I if I don't owe. Okay, so it took about 7 months for them to actually build the home. I would say within the course of the 7 months, they were asking for all the various information, and I will put a checklist, the same checklist that my mortgage company gave me, to make sure I have. They're going to want at least a year to 2 years of working experience in the same field. They're going to want to see your W-2 forms. They're going to want to know where you got the deposit from. If you have a family member give you that money, they're going to want a statement from the family member, and they're also going to want they're also going to want a banking statement from your family member's account. It was very invasive, by the way. They literally asked for the same paperwork 5 different ways. It was a little crazy, and towards the end it got very, very stressful, and you almost want to give up, but the reward is so much better. What else? So they're going to ask for all the paperwork. I mean, they're going to want to know your assets, your income, your 401k, how many kids you got, have you been married, legal names, have you ever filed for bankruptcy? They're going to want to, they're going to want to know all of that. Do you owe for child support and things of that nature? My closing costs was about almost $16,000, 3.5%. So I didn't have to pay that because I actually found a realtor, and there are quite a few who actually give rebates. Yes, this is something that is kind of little known, but it's been out for quite some time. I don't know why we do not utilize it. Everyone that I've known that has purchased a home in recent time has not utilized this. Maybe they did not know, which is why I'm making this video. These are rebates. Together with all the money that I would have come up with, would have been close to $30,000 to get this house. That's down payment and closing cost. But because I actually utilized a realtor that actually gave rebates. Now, in the state of Texas, most real estate agents, they give 3.5%. They give 3%, okay? The buyer, the seller is 3%, and the realtor to the buyer also gets 3%. Okay, so with that being said, what she did was give me 2.5% of her closing cost, the money of her commission. So she only collected 0.05%. So then the rest of the money could either come to me in the form of a check or go to me on the back end as far as closing costs. Now, I wanted the money to actually come to me in the form of my closing cost, but what ended up happening is that it was quite a bit of money. So she ended up giving that 2.5% towards my closing, and I got a check for $2,800 that the builder just actually gave to me because that was the overage. So it actually worked out pretty good for me, you know, to say the least, but I was extremely happy about that. So that is the big thing. And I would suggest anybody, this works not only for building a home, but if you're also, you know, getting a home that's already built. There are realtors out there where you do not have to pay your closing cost, or they will pay. Also, this works for investment properties also. If you're doing, I would say, an investment property where you're actually, where you're going to be living in the property for a year. For instance, my brother, he just bought a duplex in Fort Worth where he stays in one property and he rents out the other. So what I was telling him he could do, because at the time I was actually suggesting this, but you know how some people are, they don't try it until you actually do it first. So I'm sure now he's probably kicking himself, but you know, he plans on buying another one by the end of this year. So it actually works for investment properties if you're living in the unit for about, you know, at least a year. So therefore you can also qualify for FHA or a conventional loan. You stay in a property on one half of the property, or you just stay in the property for a year. And then you have your realtor give you a percentage back. So that's a good way to invest. If you're looking to invest into multiple properties over the course of time. I would think that it would only work if you're actually living on the property for at least a year. Then you can try it again as many times as you like. So I hope that this is something that can actually help everyone. So with that being said, I wish everyone the best. Continue to stay blessed. And like I said, if you need any kind of help, feel free to send me a message. Shalom.